In the ever-evolving world of celebrity drama, few things can shake the internet quite like a love triangle, a scandalous tattoo, and a public heartbreak. This week, the spotlight is burning bright on none other than Remy Ma, her longtime husband Papoose, and an ex-secretary whose loyalty may have crossed a few dangerous lines. But the drama doesn't stop there. Boxing champion Claressa Shields has also been caught in the emotional crossfire, finding herself scammed in a relationship that began with promises of love but ended in betrayal. And just like Remy, Claressa's story involves a tattoo, one that might serve as a cautionary tale for anyone thinking of inking their partner's name on their body. Let's start with the explosive revelation from Remy Ma. During a recent interview on a popular urban podcast, Remy opened up about trust, boundaries, and the people we let into our personal space. She seemed calm, collected, but firm in her tone as she explained a situation that clearly had left a lasting impression. According to Remy, she once hired a personal secretary to assist Papoose with his growing career and schedule. Now, let's be clear, this wasn't just any assistant from a temp agency. This was someone vetted, someone trusted, someone who was in close proximity to the family. And that's exactly what makes this story so wild. Remy recounted the moment she found out the shocking truth. She was scrolling through social media when she saw a photo of the former secretary posing in a bikini while on vacation. At first, it seemed like a normal thirst trap post until Remy's eyes zoomed in on one detail that couldn't be ignored. There on the woman's upper thigh was a tattoo. But not just any tattoo, the name Papoose in bold script inked permanently on her skin. Remy admitted she had to do a double take. At first, she thought maybe it was a coincidence or maybe she was reading too much into it. But nope, it was exactly what it looked like. Remy didn't say whether the tattoo was done during or after the woman's employment, and she made a point not to accuse her husband of anything. In fact, she emphasized that this was more about the audacity of the woman than any infidelity suspicions. However, the internet wasn't buying the neutral stance. Fans and bloggers immediately jumped into speculation mode. Was there something going on between Papoose and his former secretary? Why would she tattoo his name on such a private and suggestive area of her body? And more importantly, why hadn't Papoose mentioned it to Remy before she found out on her own? Social media lit up with theories, memes, and heated debates. Some people praised Remy for handling the situation with grace, while others questioned if there was more beneath the surface. Remy has always been known for her raw honesty and no-nonsense attitude, so for her to even speak on this publicly was telling. She clearly felt disrespected, if not by her husband, then by the woman she had once trusted in a professional role. The story has reopened conversations about boundaries in relationships, especially when business and personal lives intertwine. But just when you thought that was the peak of tattoo-related drama, enter Claressa Shields. The Olympic gold medalist and undefeated professional boxer recently shared her own emotional turmoil, and it's enough to make even the toughest fighter shed a tear. Claressa, known for her dominance in the ring and her unshakable confidence, opened up about being scammed in the name of love. Yes, the champ got played, and she has the tattoo to prove it. According to Claressa, she was in what she believed to be a loving and committed relationship. The man in question had charmed her, supported her, and made her feel like she had finally found someone who matched her ambition and energy. So, in a moment of passion and loyalty, Claressa decided to get his name tattooed on her body. It was a symbol of trust, of forever, of I got you no matter what. Unfortunately, it turns out he didn't have her back in return. Not long after getting the ink, Claressa began to notice signs that something wasn't right. Her partner was evasive, secretive about his finances, and started making suspicious business moves. Claressa, being smart and intuitive, began digging. What she found was heartbreaking. The man she thought was her life partner had been using her for clout, money, and connections. He wasn't just disloyal, he was a full-blown scammer. She discovered forged documents, shady accounts, and even messages that suggested he was manipulating her from the beginning. In an emotional Instagram Live, Claressa broke down the situation. "I thought I was in love," she said through tears. "I thought he was the one. I was proud to have his name on me. Now I feel stupid. I got played." Fans flooded the comments with support, reminding her that even the strongest people can be vulnerable in love. Some encouraged her to get the tattoo removed or covered, while others urged her to keep it as a reminder of what she overcame. The similarities between Remy Ma's and Claressa Shields' experiences are uncanny. Both involve women making emotional investments in men they trusted. Both involved tattoos that were meant to symbolize love and loyalty, but instead became symbols of betrayal and disappointment. And both have sparked larger conversations about how far is too far when it comes to proving love. Tattoos have long been considered the ultimate romantic gesture. Getting your partner's name inked on your body is seen as a sign of commitment, of eternal devotion. But as these stories show, love isn't always forever, and ink doesn't come with guarantees. In Remy's case, the tattoo wasn't even hers. It was someone else's expression of admiration for her man, and it raised questions about boundaries and respect. In Claressa's case, it was her own choice, one made in good faith, only to end in deceit. Both women are now navigating the emotional fallout, each in their own way. Remy appears to be standing strong, refusing to let the drama shake her public persona. She hasn't made any additional statements about the secretary or the tattoo, and Papoose has remained silent as well. That silence, however, is speaking volumes to fans who are used to the couple sharing everything. Some are wondering if there's tension brewing behind the scenes, or if they're choosing to handle this matter privately, away from the cameras. Claressa, meanwhile, is using her platform to speak openly about the dangers of ignoring red flags and the importance of protecting your energy. She's turned her heartbreak into a teachable moment, warning her fans and followers to be cautious, to do background checks, and to never let love blind you to the truth. She has also hinted that she may document her journey of healing, including whether or not she decides to remove or cover the tattoo. These stories remind us that no matter how strong, successful, or famous someone is, they're still human. They still fall in love, they still trust the wrong people, and they still get hurt. But what makes Remy Ma and Claressa Shields powerful is not the drama they're facing, but the way they're facing it. With honesty, with grace, and with the unspoken understanding that their stories might help someone else avoid the same pain. However, when Remy Ma first dropped the bombshell that Papoose's former secretary had gotten his name tattooed on her thigh, it sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. Remy had shared the story during a candid podcast interview, speaking on trust, professional boundaries, and her disbelief that someone hired to support her family would go so far as to permanently ink her husband's name on her body. At the time, Remy framed the situation as one of personal violation, not of marital betrayal, but of a blatant overstep by someone in her inner circle. The public took it as a scandalous yet somehow controlled revelation from a woman known for holding her composure and commanding respect. However, now that the situation has spiraled into new territory, some are wondering whether that seemingly controlled reveal was actually the first chess move in a much larger game. According to emerging reports and fan theories, Claressa Shields believes she may have been an unwitting pawn in that very game. The Olympic gold medalist and undefeated boxing champion is now hinting that Remy Ma may have had ulterior motives for sharing the tattoo story. Claressa has reportedly stated in private conversations, and subtly alluded to on social media, that she feels manipulated by someone she once admired and trusted. The root of her concern: that Remy Ma deliberately leaked details about Papoose's past connections and private life in a way that would incite jealousy, insecurity, and ultimately ruin the blossoming romance Claressa had with Papoose himself. In her cryptic Instagram posts, Claressa hasn't named names, but the context and timing have fans speculating with confidence. In one story, she wrote, "Some people pretend to uplift you while they're plotting your downfall," accompanied by a broken heart emoji. In another, she posted a quote, "The ones you trust the most can turn out to be the biggest haters." While these messages could have applied to any number of situations, the narrative became clearer when insiders began leaking snippets of Claressa's alleged conversations behind the scenes. According to one unnamed source, Claressa now believes that Remy Ma was uncomfortable with how close she and Papoose had become and sought to preemptively destroy the connection by weaponizing private information. If Claressa's suspicions are true, it would mean that Remy strategically used the secretary tattoo story not just to deflect attention away from potential marital issues, but to paint Papoose as a man surrounded by inappropriate admirers. This portrayal, delivered under the guise of honesty, may have been designed to make Claressa question Papoose's character and loyalty, to erode her confidence in the relationship from within. And, in Claressa's case, the damage seems to have been done. Not only did she discover that her partner was allegedly using her for clout and resources, but now she also feels betrayed by someone she considered an ally. The emotional toll of such a betrayal is considerable. Claressa is no stranger to adversity. She's fought her way to the top of the boxing world, defying stereotypes and breaking records with each match. But this kind of personal betrayal cuts differently. It's not just about a failed relationship or public embarrassment. It's about being missiled by someone she viewed as a fellow powerful Black woman, someone who preached empowerment and solidarity. That emotional weight has come through clearly in recent social media videos, where Claressa tearfully discussed the importance of discernment and the pain of misplaced trust. In one particularly emotional post, she said, "You think someone is rooting for you, and then you realize they were only clapping because they thought you were behind them." Meanwhile, Remy Ma has remained largely silent on the accusations, but her actions on social media haven't gone unnoticed. In the days following Claressa's emotional posts, Remy shared a cryptic tweet that read, "Jealousy is a disease. Get well soon," and later posted an Instagram story that said, "Sometimes people accuse you of what they're guilty of." These posts have sparked a flurry of interpretations. Some fans believe they are direct responses to Claressa's veiled accusations, while others argue that Remy is simply addressing the rumor mill in general. Either way, the tension between the two women is undeniable, and the public is watching closely to see who will make the next move. Adding to the intrigue is Papoose himself, who has yet to publicly comment on any aspect of the drama. Historically known for his devotion to Remy and his family-oriented persona, Papoose now finds himself at the center of a narrative that threatens to complicate his carefully curated image. His silence is being interpreted in a variety of ways. Some see it as a respectful refusal to engage in messy drama, while others wonder if his lack of defense for Claressa hints at guilt or confirmation of Remy's narrative. Either way, the longer he remains silent, the more questions continue to swirl. The fallout from these accusations could be massive. If Claressa chooses to go forward with a rumored tell-all interview, fans might finally get clarity on what really happened behind the scenes. She's reportedly been approached by several platforms interested in giving her the space to share her full story, and she's considering whether to spill all the tea, names, dates, receipts, and all. For now, she appears to be focused on healing, but insiders say she's not ruling out speaking her truth when the time feels right. Remy, on the other hand, may find herself needing to do damage control. For years, she has cultivated an image rooted in strength, resilience, and loyalty. She's one of the few women in hip-hop who has commanded both respect and admiration for her personal and professional journey. If it turns out that she did, in fact, manipulate the narrative to protect her image or undercut another one, the backlash could be intense. Fans who once saw her as a role model might begin to question the authenticity of her brand. This entire saga is a sobering reminder of how quickly alliances can shift in the entertainment world. One day, you're seen as friends or allies. The next, you're caught in a web of suspicion and indirect accusations. The blending of personal and professional relationships often leads to blurred boundaries, and when fame and ego are involved, those boundaries can disintegrate completely. In Claressa and Remy's case, the damage may already be done. What began as two separate stories of romantic betrayal has converged into a tangled narrative of alleged manipulation, jealousy, and the weaponization of trust. The public's role in all of this cannot be understated. Social media has acted as both a catalyst and a courtroom, with fans and followers dissecting every post, comment, and facial expression. The internet has created a culture where celebrities are constantly under surveillance, and where subtle shade can be interpreted as full-blown declaration of war. While this environment fuels engagement and clicks, it also makes it incredibly difficult for people to navigate private conflicts in a healthy way. So, what can we take away from all this? Maybe it's time to rethink how we show love. Maybe it's time to set firmer boundaries, even with people we trust. And maybe, just maybe, we need to stop treating tattoos as the ultimate expression of love, because love is supposed to be felt, not just inked. As the dust settles on these scandals, fans are waiting to see what happens next. Will Remy and Papoose address the tattoo publicly? Will the secretary come forward with her side of the story? And will Claressa bounce back stronger than ever with a new outlook on love and loyalty? One thing's for sure, the internet won't stop talking anytime soon, and neither will we. Stay tuned for updates, and remember, the tea is always brewing.